How do you buy a silencer? That's easy. Just go to silencershop.com. With hundreds of kiosks at select dealers across the nation, Silencer Shop streamlines your silencer purchasing experience. You shop and let Silencer Shop handle the rest. Visit silencershop.com to get started today. Okay, since you've heard the question now 4 times, tell me, what gun do you take into the apocalypse? You only get one.
Well, Pete, thank you for asking me that question. I believe if I'm taking a gun to the apocalypse, I'll be taking a chain gun, because that chain gun will be attached to an armored vehicle.
Okay, you know what?
Now,
You
should
can't
I
hack
need to
the question.
dismount?
No. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Definitely some sort of robust AR-15 lower, perhaps attached to a belt-fed upper.
Okay.
And that belt-fed upper would be suppressed.
Okay. Very nice. And why would you do a belt fed?
I think I'd do a belt-fed just for having that overall volume of fire on hand.
So we'll get into what kind of types of shooting you like to do, but as a longer range shooter, you're okay with a AR with a belt fed upper as being your apocalypse gun?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Let's look at it this way. If a threat's coming towards you at 600 yards or in, you'll be able to handle it with that belt-fed upper.
I like
If the
that.
threat's further away, I'd like to imagine I'm sneaky enough not to be noticed at a greater distance.
Excellent point. Excellent point. How long? So tell us how long you've written for TFB.
I'm coming up on 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah. I began in March of 2015.
Okay. And how did you come across? Had you written for other reviews before for firearms or anything?
Never written any other review ever, but I was an avid reader of the blog for several years, and I believe that Steve had been looking to review Ohio Ordnance HCAR and was unable to get one. They're fairly rare. I happened to have one because I happen to like unusual firearms and unusual platforms, and so I emailed him and asked, hey, would you like me to review this for you? And he said, sure. So I wrote the review, submitted it to him, and he said, hey, how do you like a job with the blog? And I said, I'd love a job with the blog, and was promptly dispatched to the NRA meetings that year. Yeah, the annual meetings to cover it for the blog.
Was that your, like, literally your second assignment was, so you went from a review right to going to a show and reporting on new products?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I believe my first article out of that show was a Signal 9 Reliant Defense break open pistol, as well as the FN 249S.
Oh, wow. That was that year, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Had you been to the NRA meeting before?
No, never.
Yeah. Where was it that year?
It was in Nashville.
Nashville, and we're going back to Nashville this year.
Very nice.
Any plans? You want to?
I don't know. My scheduling requirements. We'll have to see how things work out.
We're obviously here at SHOT 2020.
Mm-hmm.
You've been how many times?
This will be my 8th year as SHOT, because I would previously attend as a retail buyer. I think the first SHOT I attended was in Miami in 2009.
Oh, wow. Back when it was still in, it
would jump between cities. Oh, yes, Orlando.
Orlando, that's right.
That's correct.
So, yeah, every other year it
would have been a lot more fun in Miami.
Miami, yeah, that's true. It's just Disney and mosquitoes. So this is your 8th SHOT show, and you used to go as a retail buyer because you worked at a...
Yeah, I was a gunsmith and also did most of the retail buying and ordering for a shop.
What's your most memorable SHOT experience since you've done 8?
My most memorable SHOT experience would
probably
be, good experience would be my first year coming and working for TFB was so much more enjoyable than coming as a retail buyer, because I can go and check out the firearms that I think are interesting rather than the firearms that I need to get into the shop in order to satisfy customer demands. And it's a lot more fun taking pictures and asking technical questions rather than waiting for meetings and filling out order sheets.
So yeah, explain to somebody who's never been to SHOT like what a day for a TFB rider at SHOT Show is. Go through, quickly where it starts and where it ends.
It's a lot less chaotic nowadays. Nowadays we have a very nice app designed by one of our staff, and it can let us know where to go, and we're not double covering things. You can kind of plan your day out, see what's important. You cover all those items that you're assigned, and anything else interesting you can go check out as well. It's very important to take lots of photos, ask lots of questions, ask, as James Reeves says, the two most important questions: when and how much. And get all of that covered, and always try and put your best foot forward and have the most positive interaction with the company that you can, because that way you get more information out of it.
Yeah, so we alluded to it before, and maybe I'm wrong, but what would you call your expertise or your passion that if you had to pick something from the gun world, what's your one thing?
As far as reviewing firearms, I love to review rifles because I really try and see how I can push their accuracy potential. And as far as things that don't have to do with reviews, I really love firearms history. I got interested into firearms because of my love for history, because for the past 600 years, firearms have greatly influenced history, firearms and weapons technology. So yeah, I would say those are my two passions.
So as far as long range, what's the longest shot you've taken and actually connected on?
I would say the longest shot I've taken and actually connected was about 1.48 miles.
That's long. And what were you using to do that?
I believe we were using both a 50 caliber, I believe it was a Barrett 50 caliber and a Barrett 416. And we were shooting at fairly large plates.
Okay. That's a long ways.
Yeah.
How long does that take, that bullet, to leave your muzzle and hit that target?
Oh, without pulling up an app, I couldn't tell you the
Yes, you could.
flight time on it.
I know you could.
But a long time. I would estimate, Joel's probably going to give me the stink eye if I get this wrong, but I think the flight time is in the multiple seconds at that point.
Okay. As far as your posts go, what has been your most popular review?
See, that's interesting. So there's some posts that'll blow up and you'll think it's nothing. It's a press release, but
right.
We call this, James alluded to this in one of his videos. There's an effect coming across from video game or movie interest. So it was a press release for the Atchison AA12 being released in semi-auto. That later didn't pan out so well. So that press release was my most read article. However, what I feel the greatest sense of accomplishment in is that my reviews are what we call evergreen content. People continue to come back to them years and years after I've written them. And so I think some of my reviews are up like 59,000 people have read them. And that's something coming from the gunsmithing and retail world. I like helping people make decisions about firearms. I try and give both an objective summary of the firearm, what it can do and what it can't do and how it is, and also a subjective opinion for people that need that to further influence their decision whether or not this is the right firearm for them.
You do a really good job at being very technical, very scientific, but at a normal level, like at a easy to read level for somebody who's not a scientist or and you really break it down in a way that is fact-based. Your reviews are very, very thorough.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I try and be as thorough as possible and just think about if I was trying to assess this firearm and recommend it or not for, my mother or my mother's friends, how would I explain it?
It's perfect.
Yeah.
And one of the things we were talking about the other day, you have like a awesome amount of just ammo that you can call upon. So if you want to run a gun with 10 types of ammo, you'll volunteer up that ammo so that you can see how it functions in that gun. And that's something that we can't get anywhere else. And
Yeah.
I think that's pretty awesome.
Well, thanks. Yeah. I mean, I find it, that's my own curiosity driving it. A lot of times, monetarily, I'll pour more money into the review than I'm getting out of it, but that's not the point. It's for the passion of it and also the curiosity of it. I really like figuring out, hey, what does this gun like? What doesn't it like? I feel that you're really limiting the platform when you only test it with 1 or 2 or 3 different types of ammunition, because so often you will find a gun does not like 1 or 2 or 3 types of ammunition. I know ammunition that will consistently not work well in 90% of firearms, and then there's that 10% that loves that particular bullet for whatever reason. And so there's that little bit of mystery and alchemy in the firearms where you don't quite know. I mean, the barrel can be manufactured in the exact same way, exact same fashion, just in that platform. It tends to work differently with that ammunition.
Yeah, speaking of which, we talked to IWI this morning, and I told them I appreciated that they allowed us to take a look at the TS12 before it was fully made public. So you had that game, one of those guns came to you, and you had a chance to run that and make sure it functioned well.
Yeah.
And that was a really detailed review.
Yeah, I had so much fun just selecting ammunition to do that review with, and have to give a shout out to SG Ammo that they have such a huge selection that I got to pick from all kinds of shotgun rounds. I did pay for them, to be clear, but they had that selection in stock and on hand, and I got to make a huge spreadsheet of what the gun worked with and what it didn't. And I found that there was really no standard round that shotgun choked on, which was impressive. A lot of people are so nitpicky about it, and I find if they take that variety of ammunition home and try and run it in one of their own semi-auto shotguns, they might be unpleasantly surprised. It's not going to quite hold up to the TS12. I was really impressed by that shotgun.
Fantastic. Well, I really appreciate the work that you put in on your articles, and I can't imagine TFB without you, so thank you for all your hard work.
Oh, well, thanks for keeping me on as part of the team. It's absolutely fantastic job and hobby and passion, and I couldn't imagine not doing it. It is a ton of fun, and I recommend that anybody that has an interest and enjoys writing, go and try and find a venue for that. It's a gratifying thing to be able to do. So thank you.
No, thank you.
How do you buy a silencer? That's easy. Just go to silencershop.com. With hundreds of kiosks at select dealers across the nation, Silencer Shop streamlines your silencer purchasing experience. You shop and let Silencer Shop handle the rest. Visit silencershop.com to get started today.